Rifle shield deployed. Get behind me.
What's up, guys? It's Shield Bros here, back at you with another video. Alright guys, so today we're going to be going over the ranked map of Theme Park. And as always, I'm going to be going over each of the 4 bomb sites individually, giving you tips on how to attack them. Alright guys, so as you can see, the first bomb site I'm going to be going to is the Throne bomb site. This is probably the most popular one that I've seen. Most teams will go here on their first one. If they don't, they'll probably go up to bunk kids room. So this is extremely popular. And due to its popularity, it's incredibly hard to attack without getting open either of these walls over here. Because these walls are pretty much essentially the key to taking Throne Room. If you don't open them, this position back here through this hard wall can hold both this doorway and this doorway with ease. So you have to somehow get rid of this person who's going to be playing back here behind the throne. And usually they'll have ADSs, so you can't easily frag them out from over the top. So what you'll have to do is actually come out to a tricky angle. So there's 2 ways to go about doing this. The first way is right here in the waiting room in between initiation and office. What you'll need to do is take this trio of waiting chairs, break the left side of it. And if this wall's reinforced right here, you can only break out the top, this little top portion. But if it's completely unreinforced, you can break the whole thing. And as you can see, you can get a pretty decent angle back over all the way back to the backside of the throne here. While you can't see it on the other side of this particular wall because there's oftentimes somebody like a mute sitting there or a smoke, you can cause them to sweat a little bit and have quite a bit of pressure on them. If you break the right side, it doesn't have the right kind of a view, right side of this bench I mean, because you can see it runs right into the hard top of this door frame. Alright, so the other way in order to get back to behind the throne is to break this wall or this wall in office and come out on the scaffolding. Since they patched the vault over option off of the railing up here, you have to actually manage to parkour from the scaffolding onto this rail right here, which is a little bit difficult, especially if you're using a controller on Xbox or something, and then walk along this wall right here to stand on top of this rail. You can do it from right here, but it's a little bit less of a deep angle than you can get on top of this rail. Break the top of this wall right here because it will be reinforced, but you can still break the top and see over. And this is best for a Glass or Cali or something with a DMR or really good at hitting their shots. And if you crouch down, you can see just the top edge of that wall back there behind the bomb. So you can get pretty deep angles all the way back to the back side of the throne. Now keep in mind, this is only on the southeast corner of the throne room. There is no angle that you can easily get to end up back here in this corner of the throne room. So as always, it's best to actually just hard breach these walls because then you can actually manage to get an angle back here because they'll be contesting you from either doorway you choose otherwise. As you can see, you'll be aiming and shooting right here if you're all the way back there on top of that scaffolding area over there. So you can get a pretty deep angle all the way back to the back side of the throne from anyone trying to contest the doorways. They won't be expecting you to shoot them right here from all the way over on top of those stairs. Alright, so the second most common anchor position I would say is over here in this little corner. My friends let me call it pizza because of the oven. But from this location you can hold both the blue hallway door and the dragon door. And the reason this position is so particularly strong is because this roof above you is completely solid. And you also have a lot of hard, inshootable objects here. So that anyone trying to get an angle on you quickly is going to have a little bit of a difficult time doing it. The easiest way to get rid of this person is actually to come upstairs to office once again. Everything for the throne room, for the most part, is actually going to be done in the office waiting room area because that's the only soft roof you have available. As you can see, I broke out the corner of the office waiting room and then the floor below it. So what I would do is either use an ash charge on the opposite side, the office side of the wall, or use a breaching charge low on the wall to get rid of some of the flooring. But preferably buck or sledge would be the easiest one for this. So if you go prone here, you can see that you have a very small pixel peak angle to the back side of pizza. You can't see everything because this lip right here prevents you from seeing everything, but you do get at least some view. So if that person back there is moving around making small mistakes, you're going to be shooting them in the toes. And enough toe shots will kill them. So that is the best way to get rid of somebody hiding back there in pizza. All right, so the third anchor spot, which is actually quite unlikely because you don't normally see somebody anchoring here due to the fact that you can't hold any angles on the doorways themselves like you can from behind the throne room or from pizza. But this is usually a spot that somebody is going to get pushed to late in the game from the attackers. So a defender might just end up in this area rotating around this hard wall right here. If this happens, it's pretty easy to take care of due to the fact that everything above them is soft, so you can get a lot of angles onto that position. You really only need to make one hole to see the entire area, and all you need to do is come here. Anywhere on this white mat will do. You can even make the hole right here, right inside the doorway, if you want. It doesn't really matter, but you can see, it's not a very great angle. You can see the bottom of the wall there, and if you take this doorway angle, you can actually see on top of those boxes over there, but you can also see back into the corners from here if you need to. Come over to this side, see the other side. Like I said, it's not a very common anchor spot due to the fact that the roof above you is completely soft. It makes it almost impossible to anchor there. Alright, so a little tip. This is not vertical play for the attackers per se, yet you can use it late game, especially when defenders are rotating around, trying to get your diffuser. But if you're a defender, you're on the roam, doing what defenders do up top, I would suggest using an impact grenade or a shotgun right here in the corner of office. Due to the fact that if you use a shotgun there, you can go prone and see incredibly far. I'll get you a better angle in a second, but you can see the doorway from Gong Room. And if you break it a little bit farther back, you can see all the way over to the doorway going into the throne room and the bottom of the doorway from bumper cars or maintenance, whatever you want to call it. So this angle you can actually see the entirety of Dragon Hallway with. So if anyone's peeking around the corner like a Blackbeard late game usually does, he'll be peeking, just swinging around on the doorway if they haven't broken open any of the hard walls in order to get an easy peek. You can come up to this angle and shoot them in the back. It's quite simple. Alright, so another bit of advice for you defenders, not necessarily for your attackers because it probably won't come in handy for you, but pretend I'm an attacker here. I'm running into Gong. I've droned it. I know these rooms are clear, so I'm just running in. I run into maintenance here because this wall is going to be open soon or is already open, and I want to hold an angle on it. If you're a defender, you come upstairs to the top of Dragon, use this little light as your indicator, and shoot. You don't even need to break a lot. You could probably use a punch hole or just a few bullet holes. You go prone. As you see, when you ran in that door as an attacker, you are not looking right above you because this map already has so many holes in the roof, just naturally. So you're probably not going to even notice this hole right here. If they run in, you can get an easy kill on them in this doorway, and then you can just rotate away. Alright, so now we're going to be moving on to our second bomb site, and that will be the lab storage bomb site, otherwise known as Drug Lab. And you're going to see 3 locations in lab that there'll be an anchor normally, and then you'll see a few in the storage area, but there's not actually very commonly somebody anchoring in storage. So I'll go through these one at a time. There's obviously probably going to be somebody over here. It's the most common location to be because if you have a soft wall or a mirror, you can hold the window going into drugs. And you can also peek around the bomb and hold arcade. So this makes this a very common position for somebody like an Echo or a Maestro to be holding due to the fact that they have a lot of hard walls and hard substances around them. They do have to be aware of the fact that there is a drone hole right here, but since they patched it and they've made it a lot more difficult for you to shoot through, it's still pretty viable location to be holding. So in order to get rid of these particular anchor positions, you're going to be going upstairs and you'll essentially be playing out of cafe and daycare rooms. Come up to cafe and use this little display case as your guidepost and just come out just a little bit because the display case itself is your wall, and then break the floor right below it. And then you're going to be looking straight down onto that anchor location. Personally, if the attackers know that they're going to be going to drugs because they won throne room and then they won daycare bunks, they'll often bring a fuzz because they know that they're going to most likely be going to labs over initiation. So if you're a fuse, just come in this door right here, put your first fuse charge right here. You're probably going to get some sort of attacker just sitting there defender sitting there on their drone, looking around waiting for the attackers to find out where the attack is coming from. So it's probably going to be a pretty easy kill. Alright, so the second most popular anchor position I would say is back here behind these AC units and these canisters. Especially if you have a deployable shield, it can either go here or over on this side. It's not really that important. It depends on which side you want more protection from. But if you have the rotator hole broken open like you probably should, you're able to watch the window going into drugs. You can also watch the double door from 90. And you can watch the bathroom door from here. As you can see, you can watch it through your deployable shield, which is why I suggest bringing one for this location, because you can do the exact same thing on this other side. So it's quite difficult to get somebody out of this position due to the fact that it is a hard roof directly above them. But it is not impossible. There's actually two ways to do it, but there's one I think is better over the other. So the way I think you should go about doing it is come over here right next to these arcade machines, use a breaching charge. I tried to use a shotgun and it made a mess of things, or Sledge's hammer or buck, because once you get this angle, you have a hard floor right below you, so you can hold tight angles and you can see right behind that canister to anyone who's just chilling there anchoring. Additionally, if you go prone and break a little bit farther forward, break this right here, you can see that rotate hole, and if you get the diffuser planted inside just right underneath the window, you can come up here and hold the post plant quite easily. They're not going to be expecting this angle quite most often. So that is the best way to deal with that anchor. The other way is to break underneath the window here. The reason I don't suggest this is because if you're a defender, all you have to do is break the roof above you. Once you got this hole open, you can see anyone jumping in this window right here. And they're going to have to look directly down and try to get an aim on you sitting back here. Most likely with a shotgun or whatever you're playing, it's going to be a lot more difficult for the attacker to contest that. That's why I don't suggest breaking this, because then you're going to leave yourself as an attacker vulnerable. But if you're a defender, it's actually quite a good idea, especially if you're going to be playing bunks daycare, because they're not going to necessarily have droned you out, and you can open this floor right here. If you have a Mozzie Pest here covering the drone hole and the window, they can't get a drone in to look and see that you've pre-opened this floor. So they'll just jump in the window and you can easily get a free kill. Alright, so the third anchor position over here in the lab bomb site, it's not exactly the best anchor position, but it is one that you see quite often due to the fact that this is bulletproof. You're going to see somebody hiding up here on top of this desk, and they'll be holding the doorway from lab, the rotate hole, and arcade double door from here. The reason this is a semi-decent anchor position is because you've got the elevation change. Normally when somebody's walking around a corner like so, they've got head level pre-aimed at. As you can see, this is what I'm doing. Just aim at where their head would normally be. If you're standing up on top of this desk, I'll be aiming at your shins or at your kneecaps, while you're going to be pre-aiming my head on this doorway already. So you're going to have the upper advantage. As long as that person is not good at flicking and you don't potato, you're going to kill them every single time. That's why this position is considered a decent anchor position, but it's also really, really easy to get rid of because the roof above them is soft. So what you need to do is come over here to Daycare and use this little train car here and this shelf as your reference point and just break the floor. I would just put a breaching charge right there and you'll get rid of the entire thing and not have to make a mess of it. If you want to, you can also break out the flooring a little bit farther over and you can get a small angle all the way over to that kitty corner that I talked about earlier. The reason I don't recommend this versus the one out of Pink Cafe is due to the fact that if I'm standing here trying to get angles onto whatever mute charges, bandit batteries on the walls, whatever I'm doing over on top of the breach, they're going to be able to see my feet the entire time. I have to come all the way over here and back myself up against the wall in order to get an angle to back onto them, either their head or their feet. So I'm going to be exposed way more than they are exposed to me. That's why I don't recommend that using that breach hole to get rid of kitty corner, and I'd rather you go into pink bar or pink cafe instead. All right, so another little trick for you attackers and defenders, it's not really going to go better for one way or the other, is come up here to Daycare. And this is usually most commonly seen on the labs bomb site. But if you use this little train car as a reference and break the floor just south of it, you'll be able to see actually an angle all the way over to the bathroom door. So you're going to be able to catch any rotates in and out of bathroom from either attackers or defenders. And it's quite a shallow angle, and if you back up to so that this bar is in front of you and you have an even tighter angle, anyone coming through that doorway, even if they see the hole in the roof, is going to have a hard time getting you, while you're going to be able to easily see their entire body. So this is quite a powerful angle to hold either mid-game or late game. Alright, so the next bomb site is the initiation office bomb site. And this bomb site is almost impossible to play vertically on. A lot of the upstairs bomb sites are, so the bunks, Daycare one is also quite difficult to play vertically on due to the fact that most of the floor is hard and there is no way to come, there's really no other way to get about it. So you're going to need to bring a hard breach most likely. But anyone sitting here in the initiation office, most likely a mirror is going to be sitting on this wall looking into control room, and it's going to lock it down. So you're going to have to come in some other sort of way. I would definitely recommend getting rid of this wall right here in bunks. It's going to be the easiest way to take initiation and the safest once you got control of the area. And if there's going to be an anchor, they're probably going to be over here in the office vault, or just next to the office doorway right here. And this is all hard floor, so once again, you can't actually play vertically from below on them. The only place that there is possibly going to be an anchor in this bomb site is going to be here behind the bar, looking down towards bathroom and cash room. If you're anchoring over here in office, you're either going to be anchoring back here in the office vault or right here next to the doorway or behind the desk itself. And all of this right here is hard floor, so you can't actually play vertically from down below. So you're going to either have to get rid of a wall of some sort in order to get rid of this anchor back here, which is going to make it quite difficult to attack. The only other location that there's going to possibly be an anchor is over here behind the bar, and they'll be holding the bathroom door from here. And as Coconut Bra has pointed out earlier, this is a soft and easy peek angle for any defender trying to get an attacker peeking cash room or just rushing through the bathroom. He made it popular. The easiest way to get rid of it is obviously come downstairs. As you can see, I pre-prepped the floor there. What you need to do is come down next to pizza. Use this wall as your reference point. Really anywhere past the right side or the north side of this light right here is going to be able to reach the bomb. Anything left is going to be in the waiting room area. But as you can see anyone who's prone there, anyone crouching, walking around behind the bar right here. And that is the only way to get rid of an actual anchor on this bomb site due to the fact that the other anchor positions are both located on top of reinforced floors. Or not reinforced, but bulletproof floors. Alright, so for the last bomb site, you've got the Daycare bunks bomb site. And once again, like I said, for the initiation bomb site, it's very difficult to play vertically, but for a different reason than the other one. The other one was difficult because most of the floor was hard on both bomb sites. This one is difficult because most of the anchors don't exist. Usually you're only roaming for this bomb site with maybe 1 or 2 anchors. And those anchors are probably going to be back here in the break room. If you have a mirror, they've got a mirror window here and a castle barricade there. And they're just going to be looking down the top of yellow stairs out there. So they're going to be killing anyone who comes up that hallway. And the other one's going to be over here probably on arcade with a deployable shield holding arcade. You can hold both doorways from those 2 anchor positions. And no one's going to be anchoring here in Daycare probably because it's so easy to get rid of this wall with a Hibana. It's quite difficult to hold on to while in the location. It's a lot safer to hold it from off location. However, that doesn't mean that nobody is going to be anchoring at all. There is probably going to be somebody sitting here behind the B bomb. If they know you're pushing from initiation office area, somebody's probably going to be sitting here and just peeking you. It's going to be quite annoying because you can't shoot through the bomb anymore, so you can't get a lucky headshot. You're going to have to actually get them when they peek out. And the easiest way to get rid of this person, instead of just face checking them, is come downstairs to barrels. Use this little light as your reference point, and I would shoot an ash charge right here. You'll get rid of the entire floor, make it a lot cleaner, and no one is going to be able to sit behind that couch and that bomb anymore safely because you can shoot them from the window down there. You don't even have to be inside to get rid of them. So it's going to make it a lot more difficult to anchor in that location and cause you less headaches overall. Alright, so for the other anchor position that you can actually do something about vertically over here in the bunk room is going to be the anchor who's sitting here on top of this desk. As you can see, I've already pre-opened it. The easiest way to get rid of it is from the hatch if they haven't reinforced it. Otherwise, just break the floor next to the hatch if they've reinforced the hatch for whatever reason. But the reason this position is possibly going to be a little bit more difficult to get rid of, which makes it an anchor position, is they're going to be able to peek around this wall right here and hold the breach coming from initiation. They'll hold yellow door, or you can get a small angle over towards yellow stairs if you open the wall right. So this anchor position can be a little bit difficult to deal with. You probably see an echo in this location. But it's not impossible to get rid of because obviously you just open up the entire hatch. They have a lot less room to roam around, and you can just get a nade up here and just blow them up. It's quite simple. Alright, so I know people don't really anchor in A, but if they do, because you're at a low level for whatever reason, and somebody decides that this is a great idea and they've reinforced the walls in between bomb sites, who knows what's going to happen, but somebody might be anchoring over here for whatever reason, like I said. They're probably going to be sitting here behind the bomb next to the train, over here behind the wall on top of this desk right here, because you can get angles over out to yellow stairs from here. You can also hold initiation breach. You can chuck a C4 over the top of the wall. Whatever you may have, those are probably the only two anchor locations you're going to be seeing in the A-bomb site. And get rid of them. It's really the exact same way. All you need to do is come down here to the hallway, 90 hall, and for the one behind the bomb, use this little post and light as your reference. I would stand on this side, not shoot over here like this because you're not going to be shooting them if you actually are pre-firing the floor and trying to hit their feet. Stand facing the light and then pre-fire the floor or use an ash charge and break it. And that will give you angles onto whoever is just crouching behind the A-bomb. Alright, for the other bomb, or for the other anchor position behind the wall on top of the desk, you just come up here. It's really simple. There's really no indicator though. Just kind of go from the soft wall to the hard wall and just break the roof above it. You'll be able to get angles on anyone hiding behind that wall and all the way up on top of the desk. Like I said, this is probably not going to be very common, but it might happen. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of the video, and as always, if you enjoyed it at all, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe down below so I can bring you more content like this in the future. Alright everybody, that's it. Shields up, I'm out.